Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, Vini, Vidi, Vici were the famous words from Julius Caesar when he completed an expedition. An engineer feels the same way when he's coming close to completing the project, because it is a very satisfying feeling that you have when it is that moment. And it's a long journey that myself and my team had to complete a portion of North-South Railway, which is CTW 100, and we are really proud to be able to work on this project. North-South Railway line runs from north to from the Jordan border, and it goes up to Ras Al Khair through Hyle region, and then it also is connecting up to the city of Riyadh. And it's a huge project, about 2,400 kilometers, one of the largest projects in the world to be completed or executed at one time. The section that we have, which is CTW 100, it starts from a place called Al-Zabira, where the bauxite mines are located, and it goes right up to the Ras Al Khair area. It encompasses all type of facilities which are included in the railway work. I think every one of us have talked about why the railway is becoming so popular in this region, and as a matter of fact, all around the world, especially for transporting the bulk goods and also for the mass transportation of passengers. And in that respect, this project is also primarily for the transportation of the ore, and then when it goes from Hyle towards Riyadh, it is also will be carrying the passenger traffic in the future. There are lots of advantages that it will have, because you can exploit the natural resources and provide the reasonable and safe transportation of those materials to the processing units, and from the processing units to various destinations throughout the country. It also has a safety element, since it reduces the congestion on the highways, and therefore it reduces the accidents. As a matter of fact, especially when you look at a lot of accidents, you find that the big trucks have been involved, and especially when the drivers are going on a long trip, at some point, some of them may fall asleep or something, and those are very bad accidents. It has also the regional connectivity, as you have seen, that the network in Saudi Arabia is going to be connected with the rest of the GCC countries, and therefore all over in the region, it is going to be beneficial to transport the goods from one country to another. It also has the intermodal efficiency, because by having the long haul trains, the truck traffic is not going to be really affected, because the train will not provide door-to-door service. So it will be a intermodal system where the train takes the goods to a certain destination, and then it is then transported by the trucks as usual. Now, just to give a comparison why railway is more effective for the bulk transportation, if you take a certain quantity of materials to be transported over a 570 kilometer, that is the length that we have, and you find that you can accommodate the same quantity in one train, which has several wagons, and the fuel consumption is less. As compared to that, if you have the truck traffic, and if you line all those trucks which are going to take that material, it will create more congestion, and it requires a lot more manpower, and also requires a lot more fuel because of the consumption of fuel by the trucks. And it also reduces the pollution, which is very important. Now, Mineral Line was completed, essentially, the main line, and it has been used since May 2011, and it is all already carrying the ore, phosphate ore from Hazm Jalamid up to Ras Al Khair, where it is being processed. And the capacity will increase once the whole project signaling system is connected, and it will become more efficient. These are some of the quantities of ores which are anticipated to be transported in the coming years. For the sake of the project, I think it is very important that we should utilize some of the lessons that we have learned after completing this project. First of all, planning of mobilization is very, very important from the very beginning, and you have to have the long lead items of materials that you need has to be ordered right away. Logistic planning in order to transport the material to different places, looking after the manpower which is to be there, and planning all the machinery and equipment that you need. And this process is very important to be completed as soon as possible from the very beginning. The project that we have carried out, it had the bridges, culverts, and also many other features like marshalling yard. And for all of that, it was very important to have all the drawings, etc., completed on time and approved. Database management is very important, because at the end, when you want to hand over that helps if you are keeping the data efficiently. Quality control is a must, and most important, since we have a multinational workforce, health and safety has to be fully implemented. These are some of the features of the project. We had lots of challenges that we had to face. There was no road network which was close to the project in many places, and we had to depend on the service roads. Limited telecommunications coverage. We had to install our own coverage system, and so on and so forth. We brought the rails from outside, and between the port and our storage area, we had to have a intermediate terminal for storing the material, and then the storage of material on site. These are the trucks and wagons that we use to transport the material within the project. We set up several camps all along the alignment in order to facilitate the work. This is the communication system. We had about several communication towers erected for this purpose. We had high embankments like this one, which is about more than 30 meters high to cross a wadi. There are some sand accumulation which can happen even during the construction. Bad weather was an impediment, and we had sabkha areas in the eastern region, which we had to. This is the areas which we had to stabilize. These are the quantities that we had to execute, and as I said, finding the material, especially the ballast, was a challenge. This is the equipment that we used for the earthwork. In some areas we had to do rock blasting, earthwork in the fill, and we used a specialized machine to place the sub-ballast, which made it faster to complete the sub-ballast. As I mentioned, we have more than 500 culverts along the alignment. We have several bridges and camel crossings, altogether about 26. Track work. These are the resources that we employed for the execution of track work. And we had a very dedicated and well-trained manpower to carry out this work. Sleeper factory was the largest sleeper factory in the world. It could produce 3,200 sleepers per day. A track yard was set up. Turnouts were assembled on site, and these are the machines which were used for the track laying. Track laying was done both day and night. Ballasting, tamping and ballast profiling, de-stressing. These are the tracks, because as mentioned earlier, we have a big marshalling yard. These are some of the tracks in the marshalling yard. Alignment through the cut areas, and we have some unique inspectors checking out our track work. The whole alignment is fenced, at the end, which really pleased me when I first saw this train moving on the track. This is the area of unloading in the Ras Al Khair, where the phosphate is being unloaded from the wagons. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.